If your home feels off, it's probably not because you don't have style. It's because you're designing your home like content. We've entered a place in time where our homes have become performances instead of actual places to live. And because of that, our homes are growing more and more alike by the second, losing all individuality and personality. If you don't know, my name is Cooper, and of course, today we're going to be talking about why your home feels unfinished. Because here's something that nobody talks about in interior design. Your brains have been trained by social media to see rooms as images, not environments. I think it's really easy to scroll on TikTok or the Instagram Explorer page and assume that's what all spaces look like, and that homes that look like that must just be a dream to live in. But the reality of the situation is, a lot of them are actually poorly designed. They might look good in a photo, but how do you really live in them? Because you could be bumping into a chair or bruising your knees on a coffee table, and nobody ever stops to think about the way that they're consuming design content. Basically, you're just seeing rooms that are meant to be looked at, not actually lived in. So when you go to design your own space, subconsciously you start asking, does this look right? Instead of the most important question, does this actually support how I move through my day? Because something might look pretty on camera or pretty on Instagram, but then when you step foot in it, you might be bruising your shins on the coffee table or slamming into a chair. Like, that's just not practical. And there's been a massive shift, and that's why you're seeing a lot of homes that feel sterile, awkward, or emotionally flat. Because your home doesn't need to look like it belongs on your feed. It just needs to work at 7:30 in the morning when you're trying to get dressed, or 10:30 p.m. at night when you're trying to wind down for the day, or on a random Tuesday when you just feel exhausted and want to order takeout. And most people never design around those kind of moments. They design on how it's going to look to their friends, to their mom, to every single other person except for themselves. And that's why your home feels empty. It feels boring, and it doesn't feel like you, because you're not designing it for yourself. You're designing it for other people, and that's just the bottom line. And another thing that nobody really talks about is that most homes are designed with an exit strategy in their mind, which obviously is something to take into account, but it shouldn't be centering the way that you design your home. You're decorating thinking that you're going to move in a couple years, not committing to bigger furniture pieces, and just saying that you'll upgrade things later. So everything stays neutral, everything stays reversible, and everything stays safe. But here's the truth. Homes are not supposed to feel permanent all the time. They don't have to. They just need to feel inhabited and feel like a safe space for you. When a home has no emotional weight or friction or decisions, what happens is it creates this constant feeling of low-level dissatisfaction. You're waiting for a future version of your life to start before your home can actually exist. And let me tell you that it's never going to feel like that. You're never going to feel like you're in a place where you just know everything and automatically you're going to know how to design your home. It doesn't matter if you have tons of money or a huge house, you're still going to feel the same way. I work with clients of all different financial backgrounds, and I see problems at the micro level when it comes to studio apartments, and I see problems in 5-bedroom homes. And a lot of the times, they're the same exact thing. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll wait to do that until I move into my dream house. Well, when you move into your dream house, you're going to have the same problems. You need to understand that homes are built over time. They're not something that is done in a day. A lot of the times when we move into a new place, we'll go to IKEA, we'll go to Bed Bath & Beyond or Home Goods or whatever people are doing lately. And they'll go and buy all the essential things on the list. This could be a couch, a coffee table, a dining table, whatever. Because they don't want to deal with the process of slowly accumulating furniture, and then they wonder why they hate their homes down the line. And that is because you're not going about things in an intentional way. We've entered this age of hyper-consumerism, where we have social media guiding us at every moment into every purchase. And because of that, we get lost in this cycle of constant consumption. Things that are designed to appeal to mass audiences and are not specific to the individual at all. We have this mindset that we immediately need to fill up any space that we live in so we can be content with it, when in reality, you're just filling your space with useless junk that you're gonna hate down the line and end up spending more money on replacing. And you guys are not alone here. I'm an interior decorator, and I've made all the same mistakes before, even with having that education. When I moved into my first apartment a couple years ago, I went to IKEA, I went on Facebook Marketplace, and I tried to buy everything at an instant. And what ended up happening is I ended up being super unhappy with the way my apartment looked down the line. Yes, maybe there were a couple things that I did like, but things just felt disconnected and weird. And that was for the reason that I was just going about the whole process incorrectly. If you think back to how people would design their homes prior to social media and prior to all this new technology, things looked a lot different. You would move into a new space, have a sofa maybe passed down from your parents or your sister, and that would kind of be your furniture just in general. You would slowly accumulate things over time through traveling to different places and kind of decorate your home sparsely until it resembled something you loved and felt comfortable in. We weren't going out and buying every single thing at the same time so we could have this immediate satisfaction with our spaces. We took things slowly and developed interiors that really spoke to us as people, and I think we started to lose that quite a bit. And it really makes me sad because that narrative is exactly what makes interior design amazing at its heart. And it's the same thing that makes us as people feel unique at heart. We all have different elements to our personality, we all have different traits, and those things can be expressed through our interiors. And now, with the guise of social media, we've just been brought the same neutral overlord interior that eliminates any sense of personality and belonging. And in saying that, I'm not anti-minimalist or anti a certain style, but the bottom line is, and I think we can all agree on this, is that the consensus of this kind of interior is boring. It is mass appealing, it is boring, it has no personality, and that is exactly why it's popular. And that is because it's so plain that it can never fall out of style. And I want to talk a little bit about function here because this word has been butchered and taken advantage of in a way that is just not correct to what its fundamental truth is. Function doesn't mean minimal. It doesn't mean empty, and it certainly doesn't mean that every single surface in your home is clear. Most people's idea of function is more of an imaginary efficiency, not real behavior. People will design a living room for hosting, but then they'll never host anybody. They'll buy a dining table for dinner parties, but they eat their dinner on the couch. They design a bedroom that looks clean and calm, but there's nowhere comfortable to actually land at the end of the day. And that's not functional because real function starts with being honest with yourself. You have to look yourself in the face and say, where do I actually drop stuff when I come in the door? Where do I actually sit in my apartment? What are the spaces in your home that you're currently avoiding? And why is that? Because those answers are going to matter more than any layout rule that you see online. Everybody lives a different life. They have different responsibilities, different professions, and different conditions in which they live, with children, with pets, with family members. No matter what it is, those things are what you need to take into account when you're designing your space, not just the current trends. You ever wonder why your entryway looks like such a disaster and has 12 million jackets compiled onto one hook? Well, it's because you're not thinking about the fact that maybe you need some extra storage there. You're just thinking about the fact that, oh, you saw a pack of hooks at IKEA, and those will do. Not the quantity of people that live in the space, not the fact that you wanted to feel seamless and nice and beautiful, just the fact that it seemed efficient and was convenient. This is where people start to get frustrated. They say things like, but I bought this and it's nice. But I followed what the designer said. But I did everything right. Why doesn't it feel good? And it's like, duh. You just copied the aesthetic decisions. You skipped the entire context of your life. Like, no wonder it's not gonna work, guys. And it's so funny that 90% of people miss this step because it's something that you should be thinking about the entire time because you're the one that lives there. It's so ironic and it's so silly that people just forget that and it empties their mind. Good homes aren't just made of good objects. They're made of good relationships between those objects and your habits and your lifestyle and your time. That's why just copying a designer space is almost always going to feel flat for you because you don't have their routines, you don't have their square footage, and you don't have their tolerance for chaos or their lack of it. Because design only works when it's tailored to how you actually live, not how you wish you were living. So you might be saying, Cooper, you've given us so many problems, but don't worry, I'm gonna tell you guys how to fix it. I know you're probably asking, what is it that actually makes a home feel done? Well, I'll tell you, there are a couple elements that make up a home that feels finished. There are three things that are really key here: friction, evidence of use, and emotional specificity. The homes that feel the best are usually the ones that break the rules. They have things that don't always photograph well. They have awkward corners that actually work for them. They feel done because the person who lived there stopped asking, is this right? They started asking, is this right for me? For example, you might be wondering, for an interior decorator like me, why the background of my YouTube videos aren't the most beautiful interior you've ever seen. And that's because I'm a person just like you all. I have my own restrictions. I don't have unlimited money or time or resources to dedicate to making my home as beautiful as possible. And obviously, because this is my job, I understand that things are a process. And so I am comfortable in my space even if it's not completely finished or if it's still in process, which it is. It's about becoming comfortable with your space because it works for you, not because it works for the entire internet. So, if anything, let me give you something that's a little bit tangible. Here are a couple things that I want you guys to take from this video and maybe do this week. Redesign one room in your apartment or your home directly around what works for you and your life. Not guests, not Instagram, your real life. Let one surface stay visually busy if it makes your day a little bit easier, because clarity is not the same thing as emptiness. Commit to one decision that you've been avoiding, either a color to incorporate into your space, some artwork, or something irreversible. And please, you guys, stop shopping for answers because you're never gonna find one. Most of what your home actually needs is probably already in it. Of course, unless you're starting from scratch. Your home doesn't need more stuff. It really just needs some more honesty. So if your home has been making you feel unsettled, restless, or disconnected, it's not because you're failing at design. It's because nobody ever told you that design is supposed to support your actual life, not a performance. Your home should make days easier. It should make your nights softer and your routines smoother. And if you want help figuring out how to actually do that, that's literally what I do for a living. You can always hire me as your interior decorator. There's a ton of really great information about it on my website, and I would absolutely love to help you with your space, no matter how big or small your space is. At Cooper Osinski Interiors, we don't just design for aesthetics, we also design for your life. And I also have something very exciting to tell you guys. I'm going to be launching a new service, which will be a virtual individualized consulting session with me for 1 hour to talk about your space, to kind of break down any kinks that you have, and to figure out a clear and structured correctional plan for your space. There have been a ton of you guys that are reaching out to me for smaller things, asking why your room feels off, or wondering why this space isn't working for your life. And you're not looking to redesign your entire space. So I wanted to give those people an option too. This new consulting service will be starting in the early months of the new year, and I'm so excited to give it to you guys along with a brand new website, because I know a lot of you guys struggle with this stuff and I absolutely want to be there to help you. And if this video made you look at your home a little bit differently, go ahead and subscribe. I have such a great community here on YouTube, and I really love you guys so much. I hope you guys are having a great day, whatever day you're watching this, and I will see you very soon.